Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and I'm actually here because there is a ton of really important news coming from Alaska Airlines. So we're going to get into that, but before we do, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me and YouTube know that what I'm doing is helpful for you guys, and it also helps more people like you be able to watch this video. So hopefully you're doing that, and I really appreciate it. Now, one thing that I want to make sure I note is that if you have been liking and already are a subscriber to my videos, I really want to appreciate, or thank you for your support, and I really appreciate you coming back. It means a lot to me. But now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the Alaska rumors. So, well, not rumors, actual physical news. So I've been dealing with rumors for a little bit now, but we're actually dealing with concrete news with specific dates. So let's get into why you should care. So Alaska Airlines, for those of you that don't know, is an alliance with British Airways, with American Airlines, and with a couple other options. And so that means, and they kind of have a very wide open definition of kind of how that partnership goes, but more importantly, they also have what's called is an award chart. And so this award chart helps to really increase your point values when it comes to ways that you could use your points, and we'll get into that. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is perhaps the most pressing and the most insane as far as the actual value you can get. Now, so Alaska Airlines is an airline, so it has a co-branded credit card, and this one is with Bank of America. Now, Bank of America is, basically Bank of America and Alaska Airlines have released this insane sign-up bonus. So the sign-up bonus here is you get a buy one, get one free fare. So essentially a companion fare, but you don't have to pay the extra fee that they normally charge. And so you have a buy one, get one free fare for any round trip itinerary on Alaska. And then you also get 50,000 points on top of that once you spend $3,000 over the course of 90 days. And so essentially that works out to be about 3 billing cycles. Now, this card has an annual fee of $95, and it comes with, it's a co-branded airline card. So it comes with the standard, one free checked bag for you and anyone else in the reservation. Also comes with priority boarding. But interestingly enough, so for this $95 annual fee, you get a companion fare round trip after you pay, and so after your card member anniversary. So after you've held the card for a year, you pay that second annual fee, you get this companion fare. Now, in order to use this one, so the one that comes after holding the card for a year, there's a fee of $95 or not $99 rather, for actually using this, but it presumably would be a lot cheaper than any of the other airline fees, so like the actual ticket costs and things like that. So that's really nice. Now, you do have a couple other benefits, like 20% back or 20% off on any in-flight purchases. So if you're buying like a sandwich or something like that, or alcoholic beverages, you get 20% off. Now, you also get $100 off of a Lounge Plus membership through Alaska. So we'll see how beneficial that is. I haven't really looked into it, to be perfectly honest, but if you're someone who gets benefits, please let me know in the comment section below. I really would love to hear, how this has worked out for you. Now, let's take a look at the multipliers for this card. So this card has 3 points per dollar on Alaska purchases, which is pretty standard for, airline co-branded cards, right? You also get 2 points per dollar on gas, electric vehicle charging, cable, and transit, and then streaming as part of cable as well. And then there's 1 point per dollar on everything else. And so, while this card is very compelling, it has a very kind of insane offer right now. And so that's kind of the first bucket, the immediate thing that you can use to save money with Alaska Airlines. So let's get into the second bucket. So the second breaking news here with Alaska is that there is an insane deal on purchasing Alaska miles. And so there's up to a 70% bonus, which essentially means that you can buy points at 1.74 cents per mile. So we'll get into whether or not this can be a good deal down the road, but essentially that's what you're able to buy points at. So now this ends on June 26th, so you want to make sure you take a look at it, do the math, figure out if actually buying these points are worthwhile to you. So, basically once you buy these points, like I want you to make sure that you have an idea of something you want to use these points for, and that at least makes sense to purchase it, and presumably, a significant amount above 1.74 cents per mile. And we can get into that later. So buying points 70% off, up to a 70% off discount, ends June 26th. So that's breaking news part 2. Now, breaking news part 3 is something that we've all kind of known about for a while, but I wanted to talk to you about it because that due date's coming up soon. So American Express cardholders will very soon, within the next 2 weeks or so, not be able to transfer their membership rewards points to Alaska. So starting June 30th, so effective June 30th, so I would assume that would mean that June 29th would be the last possible day because it's effective as of midnight on the 30th. Well, then if you're waiting for the 30th, you might be too late. It's unsure, but I'd rather hedge your bets, right? Now, after June 30th, so effective June 30th, cardholders will no longer be able to transfer their membership reward points to Hawaiian. Now, this is interesting because you can actually, Hawaiian was recently purchased by Alaska Airlines. And so if you have Hawaiian miles, you can transfer those indiscriminately to Alaska, and you can transfer your Alaska miles to Hawaiian, although fewer people are making that adjustment. But so essentially what that means is starting, effective June 30th of this year, you'll be unable to move your MR points to Hawaiian and then move your Hawaiian miles to Alaska miles. And so essentially this is going to be a major closure to this ability to earn Alaska miles. And so essentially after this point, the only way you'll be able to actually earn Alaska miles are through Hawaiian credit cards, Alaska credit cards, or the Bilt Rewards program, because Bilt has Alaska as a transfer partner. Now, it's important to note that Alaska executives have indicated that they aren't really interested in helping people be able to earn more Alaska miles using, transferable currency credit card points. And so that's going to be important. So this ecosystem is going to become a lot more narrow in 2 weeks. And so you have 3 significant avenues towards using and gaining and acquiring these very important Alaska miles. And so that's something that I want to make sure that I'm hitting home with this video, why we should care about this. So Alaska is one of the few airline carriers, again, that actually has an award chart for domestic and international business class as well. So domestic, flights, but also for international flights as well. So let's take a look at table stakes. So first of all, you can actually book American Airlines economy, and this is like main cabin economy, for 7,500 Alaska miles each way. And so to compare that to Delta, where if you're flying somewhere, you're probably looking at like 20 to 30,000 Delta points for a similar competing and similarly priced flight. So let's take a look at one of 3 options. So the first option here is one booking I made in July was a round trip for me and my wife from Orlando to DCA, so Reagan and Washington, D.C. So for those 2 first class round trip tickets, I paid 60,000 Alaska miles. And so basically, if you're taking a look at that total value, that cash value of that is $1,143.94. And so divide that by 60,000 points, multiply it by 100, that is 1.9 cents per point for that. Now that is higher than 1.74 cents per point. So if I didn't have those Alaska miles and I wanted to acquire a cheaper Alaska first class ticket, that is a really great way to go. Now, let's take a look at a redemption option number 2. So I'm going to keep the itinerary the same. I'm going to take a look at Orlando to DCA and for the month of July for about a week. Let's take a look at economy flights. So if we're taking a look at economy flights, that's 7,500 points per person per way. So that's going to be 15,000 for going out, 15,000 back for coming out. So that's going to be 30,000 in total. So the cash fare for that is $637.94. And so when I divide that out, that's 2.13 cents per point. I'm rounding up slightly. So 2.13 cents per point, 1.9 cents per point, pretty good, but we're not getting insane value. Now, let's think of an actual reservation that I have made for March of 2026. Now, my wife and I, for the two of us, we found this really interesting fare, and it goes from Philadelphia to Barcelona. And this was lay flat business seat from American. And now, of course, American Airlines maybe not have the best business class seats, but they're still pretty good and a lot cheaper than, I'm thinking. So that was 45,000 points for each, and that's a one-way ticket. And so that was in March of 2026, and then we have about $26 in fees. So if I were to buy two business class tickets with AA directly for that one-way flight, we're looking at $6,976. So if you take a look at the $6,976 divided by the 90,000 points, multiplied by 100, that is 7.75 cents per point. I'm just going to let that land again. That redemption, 7.75 cents per point with Alaska Miles. Enough said, right? If you want to learn how to easily get insane value for wonderful award flights to travel the world in a way that has significantly reduced fees than any of the other carriers, this is one of the last opportunities you have. And it's closing on June 30th. Okay, that was a little hyperbolic, sorry, but in a very, very real sense, Alaska is shutting this train down. And if you want to be one of the people that are allowed and able to get on board, you need to take part in one of these three insane offers right now. All right, so let's go ahead. So what should you do? So the first thing you should do today is go ahead and sign up for the Alaska card. Now, I don't personally have a referral link for this, but I'm sure that there are out there. So look around, make sure you have that specific offer on your page when you're applying, because that's the most important part. I don't really worry about me or another YouTuber getting paid more than I worry about you getting paid. So make sure that that offer is on your card when you apply for it. Make sure you apply for that today. Now, then check to see if buying points make sense. Now, if you're someone who is traveling international and you have an itinerary that you found that you can get 7, 9, 10 points per point value on, then acquiring them at 1.74 cents per point makes a lot of sense. So, take a look at, take an honest look at what you're traveling the next year or two, right? And then take a look at what actual searchable awards you can find on Alaska Airlines, and then see if you can make that booking. And if you can make that booking, I would pull that sugar today. But then again, the last thing you should do is, if you have any flights in the next year or two that you can either make on Alaska or British Airways, I would lock that in as soon as possible. And the reason why is through transferring your American Express points to your Hawaiian account, and then transferring those Hawaiian miles to your Alaska account. And the reason why I would do it is because basically I've made two insane redemptions. So first class domestic to Washington, D.C., and then for, business class international trips to Barcelona. Those are very actual bookings that are sitting in my Alaska account right now. And so take a look at what you can do. Now, I decided to go ahead and transfer another 120,000 American Express points to Alaska, and that's probably where I'm going to be keeping it at. And the reason why is because that's 2 round-trip business class or first-class flights domestically to DC or Chicago or Denver or a couple other places that I've been wanting to go. Or we could do, say, 4 economy classes, and that kind of rounds out, at least according to the current award chart. So that's kind of what I've done. And so anyway, thanks for letting me talk about these. This is kind of a weird trifecta of insane deals, and I just really wanted to share that with you. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate your support. And once again, please let me know what you plan to do with your American Express points and your Alaska miles in the comment section below. And I hopefully I can learn some things from you. Anyway, thanks so much. Have a great day.